Hey guys, Jake Hoback Knives, another edition of what's coming out of the Hoback shop. Just got a prototype done, first prototype folder in quite a while. Been really enjoying looking at like Lucas Burney's Kwaiken folders and a few other Kwaikens, and I just kind of wanted to make one. Haven't had a chance to really do anything new, so I took a couple of days to make something. So here it is. It's a 4-inch blade. The blade steel is actually S125V. Pretty awesome steel. Hardens out. I think it's sitting right now at like 65. Pretty tough stuff. Honestly, it's harder than my sandpaper, so I couldn't put a super nice finish on this. But it's just got a kind of a scratched up belt finish on it for the moment. Like I said, a prototype. I'm keeping this one just to test the steel and prove the design. This one is a little different than my other designs, even though it still screams Jake Hoback, as you can see from my A15 HRD prototype that I've been carrying around for the last few months. I didn't do the HRD on this. I didn't actually have any more of the bearings for the pivot. I ordered some more. I just didn't get them in time to finish this, and I wanted to throw it together. So 220 thou tie. It's a 190 thousandths S125V. Like I said, rock welded out to about 65. That's pretty hard stuff, harder than M4. So we're going to test the steel and see how it holds up. I just did a knife, a Beta 5 model actually, and sent it out to Aldo. Made that one out of Rex 121. Pretty killer steel. Rockwell's the 71. Cool stuff, but this 125 is a stainless, 14% chromium. That's pretty cool. I really actually enjoy stainless, so I try to stick with that when I can find it. So I've got a little bit of this stuff sitting around. I may make another couple knives out of it. Hopefully I can find a source for it, because last I heard they aren't making 125 anymore, and Rex 121 is super hard to come by. I grabbed Aldo's last piece, so I don't know. I'm going to try to, I may work with this again. Honestly, the only finish that it'll actually take is like a sandblast or an acid stonewash, just because you cannot hand sand this stuff. All a belt, if you don't have a ceramic belt, all it does is kind of burnish the surface, doesn't actually scratch it. So if I can actually get it looks a little worse in the pictures than it really is, but definitely not a finish that I prefer. I prefer a little cleaner finish, and I honestly don't really like belt finishes very much anyway. But it's just oh, and just so y'all know, I do all my prototypes left-handed. Little shout out to the lefties, because I'm a lefty. I've always been forced to use a right-handed knife, and I prototype in lefties, and then usually I'll sell them, but this one has got a little flaw, and I don't want to sell it just because I don't want that out there. Still pretty stout knife, as you can see, compared to the A15. They're pretty similar in size, but on this frame, and I doubt you'll be able to see it just because of the lighting in here, I milled out the insides of these frames about 70 thousandths, 80 thousandths, all the way around the inside profile of the frame, so it's actually quite a bit lighter than it would be if I just used the standard titanium. So I think, let's see, it's probably sitting at about 7 ounces, which is still pretty freaking heavy for a folder, but it's a full frame lock, full titanium frame lock, so it's fairly light for the size. I like this newer design just because the flipper is a little further forward of the pivot in relation to 90 degrees here than my A15 model. So it actually flips a little harder with less pressure. So that's enjoyable, makes it more fun to flip. I'm gonna put probably 2 or 3 of these out here shortly. So if you're wanting on the email list for these, just hit me up. jakehobackknives@yahoo.com. It's going to be your best bet to get on the email list for them. So like I said, first prototype, and I've got a few more frames that are coming from Waterjet here in the next couple of weeks, and I'll probably start dinking around with them here in the next month or so. Couple of real slight modifications to the ones from Waterjet. The blade will be just a slightly narrower height-wise, just due to the fact that I don't like the fact that if you really push your finger down hard, you can just touch the edge, and I'm not a big fan of that. I want to make sure nobody gets themselves cut. And then I think I'm going to push the detent a little further back so that I can put the HRD system on this without running any issues to hitting the bevel or running into the internal stop pin slot. But other than that, aesthetically it'll be about the same. I'm going to stick with this milling, and then I may lighten the I guess the production line. I don't know if you really call it that since they're not all being machined or anything, but I'm not sure. It takes a lot of time to mill out the insides of these frames, and I'm not sure if that's going to be worth it or not. I know a lot of people like stout knives, and most people buy mine because they like stout knives. So, alright guys, well, if you have any questions, hit me up. We'll talk to you later. Have a good one.